I thought I was good at RTS games, until Broken Arrow absolutely humbled me. When you grow up on games like Command & Conquer, Halo Wars, and Age of Empires, you kind of get used to a certain rhythm. You build fast, flood the map, and win with numbers. That's what RTS meant to me for the longest time. So when I jumped into Broken Arrow, I figured I'd do the same thing. Build fast, attack hard, and win quick. But this game doesn't reward brute force. Broken Arrow slows things down, makes you think through every move, and turns even a small fight into something that can wipe out half of your squad if you're not careful. It's honestly one of the most unique RTS games I've played, and in this video, I'm walking you through my experience, especially the campaign, which ended up teaching me how to actually play this game. Now, if you've never heard of it before, Broken Arrow is a large-scale, real-time, modern warfare tactics game. That sounds fancy, but what it really means is you're in charge of tanks, helicopters, infantry, drones, artillery, and airstrikes, and you've got to use all those together strategically. It's not about base building or farming resources. You build a deck of military units before the match even starts, and then you deploy those forces in real time with a limited budget. Every unit matters, and every screw-up stings. I'll say this, the tutorial is actually great. It walks you through the core systems without dragging things out. You get a good feel of how the tanks work, how to move your infantry, how to call on fire support, all the groundwork that you need before the game starts throwing harder mechanics at you. And when we get to the air units, at least for me, they were pretty complicated. It took a good chunk of the campaign to start figuring them out, especially with how many different types of missiles, bombs, and ammo types each of them have. Before going heavy into the multiplayer, I decided to start with the campaign, and honestly, I'm glad I did. The deck building system in the game is super deep. If you go into multiplayer without knowing what you're doing, chances are you'll bring in a garbage loadout and you'll get steamrolled. And honestly, I feel like the default deck is not that great. The campaign gave me time to experiment. I learned what each unit did, which ones felt right for my style, and how to stop relying on just spamming tanks to get through every situation. It forced me to adapt, to mix in recon, infantry, support, and actually think through how I wanted to play. The story itself, it's fine. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's not going to win any awards, but it sets up the conflict and gives enough reason to blow stuff up. But what I really did appreciate is that in every mission, it teaches you something new. One level forces you to use laser-guided munitions. Another one makes you use hold fire. It's like a playable tutorial that never feels like one. The full campaign took me about 10 hours, but here's the thing. You can't save mid-mission. Each mission runs about 30 to 45 minutes, and if real life interrupts you, like you gotta take your dog out, or your friend stop by, or your wife needs something, you've really only got two options. Pause the game and leave your PC running for hours, or shut it down and start the whole mission over later. These missions, they're not really short, and sometimes the hardest part isn't really until the end. It'd be great if you could save after a checkpoint instead of having to start from scratch every single time you mess up or you have a game over. There was one moment where this actually stood out to me. So there's this mission where you're defending an airfield. The first half, actually like the first 90% of it, it's pretty straightforward. But the final objective hits you with a full-on push, just a wall of enemies trying to take it back. And sure, you could chalk it up to a skill issue, but having to replay an entire mission that took about almost 45 minutes just to get another shot at the ending, that's a little bit frustrating. It's not a deal breaker, but on days when you only have about 30 to 45 minutes to play, you definitely start to wish the game was a little bit more user-friendly and had a little bit more flexibility. But here's the thing, I actually loved playing it. I sit down thinking I just knocked out one mission, and then I look up, and it's 3 hours later. The gameplay is very engaging. You get drawn in, it's stressful, it's tactical, and when you finally push through an impossible fight, it's genuinely rewarding. There's so many little tactical stuff that I love from this game, like popping a smoke screen right as an enemy fires on your tank or your unit. You've got to time it perfectly, almost like an active reload in Gears of War. If you nail that timing, it's so satisfying to watch the enemy shot disappear into a cloud of smoke while your unit with 1 HP lives and fights on. One thing I really hope they bring back is co-op campaign. Maybe I'm crazy, but I could have sworn that this was a selling feature that they had for this game before it launched. Back during the beta, my buddy and I actually played through one of the missions together, and it worked great. But this feature isn't there anymore. I filmed this on June 18th, so maybe it gets added later in an update, who knows. All I'm saying is that this campaign would be so much better with a friend. And that about sums up my first impressions. If you're looking for a strategy game that actually challenges the way you play, this one's worth checking out.